For more on the president's call with the Chinese president, let's bring in Sourabh Gupta. He is a senior fellow at the Institute for China-American Studies. Thanks for joining us. First off, we want to talk to you about this very important call with the president of China. What can you tell us about it?
What I can say is that the two countries did have a deal, or at least a framework deal of the outlines of what they were looking for in terms of their trade tariffs, which have been paused. Now there were certain inconsistencies with regard to how both sides interpreted the deal. This was particularly with regard to the flow of rare earth elements from China to the West and to other countries. I think Mr. Trump knows that the tariffs are disruptive to the overall economy, so he wants to get his trade deals done quickly, and he wanted to thereby move forward quickly on this hindrance that had arisen in U.S. China negotiations, and that's the reason I think for this call. And it was a long call, means they obviously had a very substantive discussion.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And it was just last month, I believe, that it was in Geneva that the two sides actually got together to lower tariffs for 90 days as they worked out a broader deal. Now, what does Trump's first term tell us about that?
Trump's first term was littered with quite a lot of 90-day arrangements where they would try to negotiate, and sometimes there were kind of preliminary deals, but they turned out to be sort of false starts. Frankly, there were three 90-day deals, and the third 90-day deal did realize an agreement. It was called the Phase 1 trade agreement, which had large number of managed market purchases, as in China would purchase a particular amount of U.S. ag products, natural gas, other products. I think that's what they're aiming for, shooting for again this time, what Mr. Trump is shooting for. But what Trump one does tell us is that nothing is certain until it's actually signed, and even when once signed, is not certainty with regard to its full implementation. That happened right during COVID time, we have to understand, though.
Switching gears a bit, let's talk a little bit about China and the U.S. relations and their relationship to threats against the United States. I mean, a lot of lawmakers up on Capitol Hill, they're really concerned about the land that's being purchased around U.S. military bases. And there is a true threat from China, is there not?
Oh, there is a threat from China. I mean, China is a strategic adversary. There's a broad consensus across the U.S. political spectrum and elsewhere in the West also. For example, in Australia, they're having the same debate with regard to a Chinese port holding, which is very close to a military facility. So there's no question about it. Now, the area where this becomes a little challenging is, for Mr. Trump, his philosophy is don't export to the United States. Come to the United States, invest here, use American labor, and produce for the American consumer. But then that raises the question if the Chinese want to invest in America. Mr. Trump seems open to it, but I think a very large number within his Republican constituency just don't want to see those sort of investments from China, including in farmland. And so this is a debate that the Republican Party needs to hash out within itself, and Mr. Trump too.
Hey, we appreciate the insight. Sourabh Gupta, thank you so much for joining us.
You're most welcome.